I think that Joan Crawford did love her children.
Oh, yeah.
I do think that Christina Crawford went through some shit.
Yes.
I think both things can be true.
Yes. And you know what the third thing is true?
This movie's amazing.
Yes.
You're back.
Welcome to Cinematics Problematics, where we celebrate your guilty pleasures. I'm Chrissy Redding.
And I am Erin Maxwell.
And today we're talking about 1981's Frank Perry film Mommie Dearest. Based on the best-selling book by Christina Crawford, it depicts in vivid detail the abuse she suffered at the hands of her movie star mother, Joan Crawford. It follows Joan's initial desires to have a child and difficulties with adopting Christina and her brother Christopher, to not so gently catapulting the audience into a near-endless parade of cringe-inducing scenes depicting escalating child abuse. Rocketing this film into its camp classic status is an iconic performance by Faye Dunaway as Joan Crawford, as she goes full fucking ham to show Crawford's perfectionism, alcoholism, manic-depression, and especially her disdain for wire hangers. The delicious scenery chewing of Dunaway's performance, paired with a problematic marketing campaign from Paramount, may have launched it into its camp classic status, but it's worth discussing if rampant child abuse is the best use of your marketing dollars, especially if it winds up being this fucking funny. The film stars Faye Dunaway, Diana Scarwood, Mara Hobel, Steve Forrest, Rutanya Alda, and has a runtime of 2 hours and 9 minutes. Erin, tell me about the first time you saw Mommie Dearest.
I saw this movie on Channel 5 on KTLA in Los Angeles almost every single Sunday. It played on Mother's Day. It played on Easter for whatever reason. It played on Father's Day. It played all of the goddamn time. I studied this movie. I watched this movie. I don't know why it was on all the time, but it just was. I love this movie. I thought it was true. I never questioned it. I didn't realize it was supposed to be funny until later. I played it with my sister. We just took it for what it was. We didn't realize it wasn't a comedy, nor did we realize it was a drama. We thought it lived in this weird bubble universe. It lived in a pocket universe of where only its genre was Mommie Dearest.
It's so true. When I was trying to describe what genre this was, when I was kind of typing up my notes, I had no idea what to call this. I'm except it's kind of okay. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Showgirls a little bit, because it's so fucking over the top that you can't help but just not take it seriously at all. You know, it's and Showgirls similarly shows a lot of fucked up stuff. It shows a lot of things that are just super problematic, right? But at the end of the day, do we love it? Yes.
Yeah.
You know, but it's because the camp overpowers everything else. It overpowers the subject matter so much that you almost don't recognize it as even child abuse in a way. You're just this is just a fucking crazy ass. This is just insanity and over the top acting, and it's so delicious and so fun to watch, and I cannot stop watching Faye Dunaway in this film. And I'm not sure that means that this is a good performance, but it's definitely an entertaining one.
The amount of potential young gay boys that would come over to our house and then we would chuck wire hangers at each other was embarrassing. It was just we would just play this movie with each other because it was ridiculous. And we didn't realize that we weren't supposed to, but I don't think anybody stopped us because everybody recognized how ridiculous it was. And then we wrote plays on it.
Yeah. You know, and here's the thing, so the first time I saw this film too, I think I was in my teens, and my mom mentioned it. My mom had watched it, and my mom, she likes your traditional kind of movie going stuff, the stuff that's relatively straightforward. You know, camp isn't really her thing.
Right.
But when she described it to me, she had this mischievous smile on her face. She was like, "Oh, it's so good." You know, and my mom doesn't make light of child abuse either. I don't think many people do, but it's when you show it like this and you have Faye Dunaway in a freaking night mask with curlers in her hair, it's freaking freaking out about wire hangers. I'm sorry. It's just so It is so over the top that it's hilarious. It just is. Did I wince when she was beating Christina with it? Of course, like that's not funny. But the succession of increasingly erratic behavior played to the effing nines, like that is something that you can't ignore. And that's what people remember the movie for. That's like the most memorable thing about it.
So I have a friend, I actually have several friends who've never seen this. And we're just
poor
gonna,
things.
we're just going to call them straight males.
Okay.
They asked me what makes it bad. And I'm like, it's not bad. I mean, technically it is. Okay, if you were to like get down to brass tacks, like what makes a bad movie? This hit checks all the boxes. It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
But technically what makes it bad is that it doesn't take a breath. When the abuse starts, it starts. And then it goes from the minute Christina is talking into a hairbrush and emulating getting an Oscar, it just doesn't stop. She gets her hair cut, and then she's being dragged into the yard, and then she's being beaten, and then she's being Ajax, and then all of her toys are being taken away. And then like it's just like one after the other after the other. It's like the girl's not even 8 yet. And then all of a sudden then she's thrown in, and then after like 40 minutes of this, then she's thrown into a school, and then she ages to 30.
Yes. Like, and the child stays a child until like for about 10 years. Like she does not age at all. It's like she pops out of school and she's like a full-grown adult.
Abused. And then the minute she serves a drink, she's sent off to boarding school.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's unrelenting. It's like, it's just a series of scenes like with escalating crazy ass behavior.
Right.
And that's all it is. It's just a series of these like vignettes that kind of saying, look at how crazy this woman is. And look at how bad this kid had it. I mean, I have to admit, like when it first started, like when the movie first starts, I'm kind of just like, oh, this is just kind of like how kids were raised back then. You know what I mean? Like we've all heard like stories from our parents. It's just like, yeah, I only got one present for my birthday, or I had to scrub floors, or I had to walk uphill both ways to school, or I had to do this. Or it's like, I had to eat what was on my plate, or I didn't eat it all. Like that kind of stuff just happened back then. It was a different time. Like that falls under the category of it was a different time. But there's definitely stuff in this film that do not fall into that category, that are just bad no matter what era you're in. But the thing is, like, some of that stuff is questionably true, even by the book's author. So I mean, they very purposefully sensationalize this topic to make it as dramatic and fucked up as possible for dramatic effect. And that's, I mean, and movies do this all the time, but I think that like when you take like a deceased actress who can't defend herself, and you are very purposefully inserting things that never happened, that is a problem.
In this book, did come out when she was very much alive, and she always denied it, and everybody denied it when it came out. And that's not to say when the book came out that it didn't happen. And I want to kind of say this at the top of this podcast because it's very, very important. It's not that we're dissing on what happened to Christina and we're denying anything that may or may not have happened to her. That is not what we are doing. There are such things where anything could have happened to her, and that could be Christina's truth. And then there's people that lived with her at the time that have said that this may not have happened to her, and that is their truth. And both can be completely true and exist in the same universe. The thing is with this movie is that it has this reputation because it is so bad and it lives in this bubble of being a bizarre biopic. It's so over the top and so bizarre because of the weird performances and because of the canned acting and because of the stinted dialogue and because of bizarre makeup choices. And because of all that, we can totally go after it. Because if this was a serious examination of what happened to Christina Crawford and we went after it, that would make us assholes. But it being what it is, it's fucking hunting season.
For sure. I mean, and here's the thing. It's like the film does a total disservice to both the characters.
Absolutely.
To both Christina and to Joan Crawford. Like Joan Crawford had a very, very troubled upbringing. Like she grew up in poverty. She was sexually abused by her stepfather. She was sent to these boarding schools like Christina was sent to. She went through all this shit that undoubtedly shaped who she became as a mother. And you don't see that at all. On the other side of that, Christina is just a vessel for abuse. Like, she does not have any characteristics but this kind of like soft-spoken child who gets abused, and like maybe towards the end with the great line like, I'm not one of your fans, that whole thing. Like, that's kind of, that shows kind of like the effect it had on her, but it doesn't really go that much deeper than that. Like, she becomes like an actress and all that stuff, and it like they don't really seek to kind of like understand what the effect is of this, and they don't project it through how her character is written either. And so Joan Crawford is a monster, and Christina Crawford is just like a subject of abuse. And that's basically it. It's like, watch what happens. Like, and that's all they did. And on top of that, they made it as ridiculous and silly as possible.
I will say she does have a personality characteristic. She is blonde.
She is very blonde.
She's very blonde.
Yeah,
they make that a big point of that.
Yeah, and it sucks because it is just, it's torture porn in a way, but in another way, it's just like they took these two female characters and didn't really give them a ton of depth at all. I think that is what permits people to be like, fuck it, this is kind of funny, because they didn't really give us something to latch onto.
No,
right?
There's nothing real here.
Right.
There's no sense of realism. It's Joan attacks Christina nonstop. It's almost like a shark movie. It's just blood in the water, and then it's just Final Destination with an old Hollywood star. It's
raw steak blood in the water.
Yeah, it's just blood in the water. It's like the minute that like Christina shows a little bit of weakness and shows anything, like Joan just attacks, she immediately starts giving away her dolls, starts cutting at the rose garden, cuts away her hair, starts dumping on her, starts making her clean the bathroom, starts just one after the other. And it just doesn't stop.
The thing that I mean, speaking of like that whole scene, like towards the beginning, like with the birthday party, Christina like lives this idyllic life and everything, and she has this like amazing birthday party. She gets all these presents, and then Joan is like, which one is your favorite? And she picks the doll, and she's like, great, because I'm going to give everything else away to the orphans at the orphanage. Now, okay, I feel like the film wanted us to think that was like some kind of crazy, like egregious form of abuse or something, but honestly, that's not that bad. Like, that was just kind of like, oh, she's giving it. It's not like she's throwing the toys in the trash. She's giving them to orphans. That's not a bad thing.
Especially because like 20 minutes later, she does it again when she's punishing the dolls, and she catches Christina punishing the dolls, and then she gives all of her toys away again. So apparently, like, Christina should just get used to it by now. Just don't get attached to shit.
Yeah, don't abuse your children. They'll be taken away. It's like, in this case, Joan was kind of like CPS, and she was just protecting the dolls.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just making excuses now. All right, let's kick off the sins, shall we? Do you want to kick us off, Erin?
Well, the big sin here is how child abuse is being treated in this film.
Yes.
And that's really the really big sin. And we can attack this from many different ways. And so I have a big list on how this was treated, how this is attacked. And the first one being very much so is this true? Is it not true? Because we had a bunch of people coming in from all sides. And then I just decided that's not for us to decide. So we're going to leave that away. So we're just going to talk about it, how the film discusses it, which is, it kind of lists child abuse as not correct in a way. Like, it does it for our amusement. It is not systematic. It just doesn't show it as accurate. It's hard to explain, but it shows it gives it almost like a Hollywood appeal. It's not as anything as scarring. It just shows it as something as performative.
Well, okay, here's where I would differ on that. I think that we talked about the problematic marketing campaign for this, where they kind of like leaned into like, oh, people are laughing, let's lean into that. I don't think that they meant for it to be amusing. Like,
no, they didn't mean it to make it amusing. But they did make the child abuse to be as horrific as they possibly could.
Yeah.
So they pushed it to over the top.
They made it shocking.
But
yes.
the thing is that they wanted to keep the rating. They didn't want it to be R-rated. So they didn't want to use any blood. So what they did is that they just said, everybody has to act very big. Act big. So with these really big acting, and then they had, when Christina got older, when the actress got older, they had her match her mother's energy. So you have two people in the scene acting very big.
Mm-hmm.
And it just comes off as ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
So what you have is that you have something that is actually really horrific, which is child abuse, being put in the hands of two people who are exaggerating it. And so it's coming off as really stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, the producer who sued Paramount over the ad campaign.
Yeah.
He was like, I was trying to make a dramatic movie. I was trying to make a serious dramatic movie. And when I first saw that, I was just like, were you seriously trying to make a dramatic? Because there was nothing serious about this film.
No.
There's nothing serious about it. And yeah, I mean, I think that like one of the crimes against it for sure is the depiction of child abuse. But I think like layered into that is that they not only took from the book, but they fucking made some shit up, which is really bad because it's just like, then you're just making it, you're not giving like the abuser a fair shot here, you know, and amplifying kind of like how bad it was. I'm not saying that that's an abuser and an abuser, right? But there are definitely degrees to that. And they turned up the volume on that big time. You know, like for example, the wire hanger scene, she never beat Christina with a wire hanger.
No.
Christina said that herself. She never choked her. That was completely fabricated. That never happened. The rose bush cutting was like seemingly random and stuff. Like it just didn't, like it usually didn't happen like with any kind of inciting incident or whatever. It usually just happened randomly apparently, and was just kind of like a sign that she was just a very kind of like manic personality and like somewhat unstable. But apparently like a lot of the things that they fought about were like money, you know, and like her tuition. And like, you know, Joan Crawford said she wasn't going to pay for her school. Like she had to put herself through school the way that she had to put herself through school, like when she was younger and everything. And so the most salacious scenes are not true. And they're the most memorable ones. And that sticks. Like when you're taking a Hollywood legend and you are trying to paint a picture of who this person is that is counter to the persona that they have created for themselves, when you make something like that up, that's pretty bad. That's not fair to Joan Crawford. I mean, not that the stuff that we did see that was true was good. It was not good. It was like, I mean, I'm not saying that Joan Crawford was a great mother or anything, but when you make stuff like that up that's so extreme, then that is pretty irresponsible.
It's a combination of, because that was literally next on my list. It's a lot of this is a lie. And it's not that it's a lie because people are saying that what Christina Crawford isn't true. It's just that Christina Crawford also says the movie isn't true.
Mm-hmm.
And she came out against the movie and said, this is fabrication. This movie did nobody any favors except for people who really enjoy campy, bad movies. Like us.
Yeah, exactly like us. I mean, yeah, I mean, and I think that says like a lot that even the author comes out and says that this was unfair to her mom. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So this film is completely destroying the reputation of one of Hollywood's biggest stars.
Friends of Joan Crawford, Christina Crawford, friends of the family, people in the family, and the kid that was left out. A
few kids were left out, apparently.
Yeah. Everybody has said that this film is distorted, it is sensationalized, it is exaggerated, it is damaging, and it is destructive to Crawford's legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is that when you get down to brass tacks, what you probably is the truth is that you have Joan Crawford, who probably had OCD or some level of OCD, was not this cruel to her children, or maybe on some level was just not this level. And this is all people will ever remember her for.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a phenomenal actress.
Yeah.
And a very brilliant woman. And ran Pepsi Cola.
Oh, yeah. Well, also, that never happened either, that boardroom scene.
No. That's fun. That
I
was
love
super
it though.
fun.
That is a great
That's a great scene. Like, if
Oh my
anything in
God.
that movie I want to be true, I want that to be true.
Don't fuck with me, fellas.
That's a good. This is my first rodeo. So good.
So good.
Oh my God.
I love this fucking movie so much. Okay. So yeah, so they changed a lot of stuff. And this is kind of like where we get into kind of like the failures of movie making, I think, right? It's like first, like they changed a whole bunch of stuff with the book and made it seem way more extreme than it actually was. And they just left out a ton of context, right?
So what ends up happening is that you have issues that you may want to tackle in this movie that this movie could have tackled. So it could have tackled issues of abuse. It could have tackled issues of OCD. It could have tackled a myriad of different issues. But now, because this movie is a fucking joke, nothing gets tackled. And everybody is fucked.
Right. It's just a series of scenes like of her freaking out. Like even like in the scenes like without Christina, you know, like the scene with Greg in the bedroom.
Right.
Where they're having this fight and he's like criticizing her drinking and he says like there's an age like where this isn't cute anymore and she gets really offended and says some very, very mean things to him. And he's like, I've kind of had it. You know, even like in that scene, it's just like she's just somebody who's just deeply unstable. And you're just like, where's all this coming from? She's just like so erratic. And they just fail to explore that at all.
Because the tone is like wackadoodle and like is just all over the place, it's just blurred the conversation, any kind of serious conversation it was trying to have. So
yeah.
If it was trying to be a serious film, and I knew it was trying to be a serious film because Faye Dunaway signed on thinking she was going to win an Oscar for this. She really thought in her little heart that she was going to get an Oscar. God bless her soul.
I know. But you know what? Okay. I think that she won the Razzie for Best Actress.
Oh, she absolutely did. This movie like swept the Razzies.
Right. It had like 9 Razzie nominations, but I think like the chairman or something, or the president of like the Razzie Awards or something said that this ranks as like one of the best worst films ever.
It truly is.
It is. It's so bad, but it's like, it's so much fun. It's bad. It's like Purple Rain bad. It's like, it's Purple Rain bad, but amazing. It's so good.
It hits all those notes where it's like, if you love campy films, it's just, again, it's like one of those films where it just like all your chakras are firing because it's like, it's earnest about how it's trying to be a good film, but it hits none of the markers. And it just,
I don't even know if is it really earnest? I don't know. Is it earnest?
I think everybody that was involved thought they were making a good movie, just like Showgirls. Except for
Gina Gershon.
Except for Gina Gershon, who knew exactly what film they were making.
Gina Gershon was the only one who got the memo on that one.
Yeah, Gina Gershon knew exactly what the film was.
Nobody got this memo. Like, nobody got it.
Nobody got this memo. But it's not that it missed the mark. It overshot the mark on every single occasion. Like,
well, you know what? What should have tipped people off is that there were a whole bunch of other actresses that like were in the running to play this part. And they all kind of like rejected it. They were just like, I'm not doing this because they thought it was kind of like unfair to Faye Dunaway. And they were like, there were also like script issues, you know, like some people like thought it was like too unsympathetic. And like Faye Dunaway didn't come on until, I don't know, like a month before shooting started. Like she came on like super late. And I think the director got replaced too, super late as well. Like I think like at around the same time, if I recall correctly. So that should have been like your first warning sign that this production was probably going to be in a little bit of trouble because the warning signs were there. I just don't think like the producers were taking the warning signs at all. They still thought that, yeah, we've got this in the bag. And everybody else is saying, do you really think that you have this in the bag? Because what we're seeing is something like super sensationalistic that is going to destroy a Hollywood legend. And it's going to ruin this woman. And they were just like, fuck it, let's do it anyways. And let's get Faye Dunaway.
So originally they wanted Anne Bancroft.
Yes.
For this film, which is kind of odd because, well, not odd, but because Anne Bancroft was part of Joan Crawford's infamous smear campaign, like not smear campaign, but the darkest shade that was ever cast on the history of the Oscars is when Betty Davis was nominated for Baby Jane, and Joan Crawford wasn't. But Joan Crawford orchestrated it. She knew that Anne Bancroft was probably going to win the Oscar and campaigned against Betty Davis. And then orchestrated so she would go up and accept the Oscar on behalf of Anne Bancroft, who was in New York at the time and couldn't leave the play. So she did it just to cast shade on Betty Davis. And it was like the shadiest move in the history of the Oscars. So they wanted Anne Bancroft to play her in this movie. And so she showed it to Mel Brooks, her husband. And Mel Brooks said, "You can't do this. This movie is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be the worst movie ever, and everybody's going to laugh at you."
If Mel Brooks is telling you that, you listen.
And she's all like, "It could be really good. I can see myself winning an Oscar for this." And he's like, "No, absolutely not." He's all like, and I'm going to tell you why. He's like, "It's one thing to read about chopping down a tree in the middle of the night while your kids are crying around you in your nightgown while you're covered in a face mask. It's another thing to do it." And I'm telling you right now that this scene is not going to play the way you think it's going to play. He's like, and then it's followed by this scene. He's like, absolutely not. This movie is going to be a train wreck. Everybody's going to laugh at you. He's like, don't do it.
You know what, though? What's so funny is that he was right.
Yeah.
He was right. But at the same time, Faye Dunaway is a legend because she did this film. But it was realized a bit later, right? It became kind of like this cultish classic. Like when it first came out, you know, people started showing up to movie theaters like with their bathrobes and their wire hangers and everything because they thought it was like ridiculous or whatever. And I mean, it had an unintended effect that actually wound up being like one of the most iconic things that Faye Dunaway played. Like if she had just leaned into it instead of rejecting it, I don't know if her career would have tanked the way that it did.
Well, if you've done like the Elizabeth Berkley, you just embrace it later in life and you take it for what it is. And then you realize that later on it'll make you a star and then everybody loves you for it. But the thing is like, I don't think that Faye, and God bless her, because there are many things she is wonderful at, and she is great. Love her in Network, love her in Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know if she has like what you would call a great sense of humor.
Unless
maybe she does. I don't know. I don't know the woman, but something tells me she's never going to really embrace this.
Let me just be fair here. There are some people that have some unkind things to say about Faye Dunaway and what it is like to work with her. One of whom is, funny enough, Betty Davis. And
Betty Davis and her have a very legendary feud.
Yes, they do. And the actress that played Carol Ann, the nanny / maid, she wrote kind of like a diary of like what it was like to make the film. And she wrote about the horrors of like working with Faye Dunaway. And maybe it was like a little bit of typecasting happening here. You know, but it seems like she is a woman that takes herself very, very, very seriously at the expense of other people sometimes probably. And so that pride is something like if it's so far entrenched like that and like there's not a ton of humility attached to it, then I can totally see how she would think that this was like, first of all, a serious performance. And secondly, I can totally see why she wouldn't embrace it. Even after it becomes like a cult classic and people love it. I know more people that love this movie than hate it. I don't even know anybody that hates it.
A single person that hates this film.
No, I don't either.
But I know everybody agrees it's not a good film.
You're right, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not. It's like one of those films. It's like we subjectively kind of admit that it's not good. But it's also amazing.
No, we understand this. We embrace it. We all understand what the situation is. Everybody knows that this film, if you were to sit there and make it understand, like teach this film in a film class, it is not a good film. But everybody loves this film for that exact reason.
Right.
Not everybody loves Showgirls, and they're wrong. But
right. I had to come around on Showgirls, to be honest with you.
It's all right.
I did. I had to watch it once, and then I had to like watch it again, and then I was just like, okay, I think I get it now.
It's a beautiful.
And when we watched it at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, I mean, my God,
So
that was amazing. And
So good.
Elizabeth Berkley showed up herself. That was so great. This is like the perfect Hollywood Forever Cemetery movie, by the way.
It really is. It really is.
Because it doesn't matter if like you're next to like drunk people talking, because it's like
You're not missing anything.
There's no story here. It's just like, want to see another scene of abuse? Great, we got one for you. That's all this movie is, really. And it really is not subtle. It beats you over the, I mean,
Literally.
sorry, that's a really bad metaphor. Sorry. It reinforces, to use my corporate speak, it reinforces, like, it's very silly. It's not a serious movie at all. But that's why we are allowed to laugh at it, is because they did such a bad job making a drama that it's hilarious.
And listen, this movie definitely has its problems. And just to reiterate, the problems is the way it treats child abuse, the way it destroyed a legacy, the way that it didn't actually interpret any truth. It just kind of circled around the truth and then lied and destroyed both sides of the truth. So you just kind of ended up with this giant hyperbole on the screen.
And nobody was happy with this at the end, except for gay men.
It's extraordinarily problematic, but nobody hates this film.
No, you can't hate it. It's like,
maybe if it was my life and my mother and my experiences and it was like my situation, I would hate it more, but it's not. So I get to laugh because I'm an asshole.
We both are. This is why we do this podcast, is so that we can just let that freak flag fly, you know? And I mean, look, we have watched many films that have depicted terrible behavior, Revenge of the Nerds. If I had that happen to me in college, I would not think it was funny. Okay. But, you know, it's like, it was, especially like in the 80s, like when they were making films, like it kind of was this different, it was a different time, and it fucking sucks that it was, and people were assholes back then, but it was. And just like that, I think that like one of the problems that you also have kind of like in these films of the 80s, and this is a perfect example of that, and we kind of touched upon this at the beginning of the podcast, but the female characters are just not drawn out very well at all.
Right.
They lack any depth besides just surface level reactivity to whatever insanity is happening in the moment.
I actually wrote down, it's not just the female characters. I don't think there's any other characters in this movie other than Joan Crawford.
She's even, I mean, she's a character in the sense that she does some fucked up shit.
She's just a characterization.
She's a cartoon. I mean, she's a cartoon.
She's just a characterization, and then everybody else is just bland. They're just milk. It's just they're just milquetoast characters that just don't do anything. They're not happy. They're not in love. They don't show any other emotion. They only show emotion because they tell you their emotions.
Mm-hmm. Oh God! They broadcast them with a megaphone.
Are you happy? I'm so happy, and I'm like, oh, good. Because if you didn't tell me that, I would have no idea.
Right. Oh, thank you, Mommie Dearest. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we had the same problem with Fatal Attraction, right?
Yeah.
The same problem that we had with Fatal Attraction we have here. Just like in Fatal Attraction, Alex Forrest is depicted as like this woman who just flips out because she can't have this married man that she had like a 2-night stand with or whatever. And her behavior escalates and escalates and escalates into this crescendo, which we all know very well by now, with like the boiling of a bunny and then being shot in a bathtub. But they don't ever really give us anything but a creepy serial killer scrapbook to kind of like piece together who this woman might be.
Right.
And even then it's very surface level. And I think that like the same crime is kind of committed here because like I said in the beginning, like Joan Crawford had a very, very troubled upbringing, which when I read about it made me understand how this could happen so much more. It made me empathize for kind of like this idea that, you know, child abuse is passed down a lot of the time. There are times like when people wholeheartedly reject it and say, I'm never going to do this when I grow up to my kid ever. And they like make a very conscious decision to break this cycle. But more often than not, the cycle continues. And what they show us here is just this woman who's a monster who comes out of the box this way. We don't understand why she is the way that she is, except for maybe she's kind of like a narcissistic movie star. They give us like maybe 1 or 2 lines about her childhood, but that's it. And everything else is just like, why does she have this thing about wire hangers? Why does she have this thing about the steak? Why is she cleaning the floors all the time? Like, why does she have this thing about cleanliness? Why? There's a reason for all of this if you read up on who this woman was, but they don't tell you any of that, you know? And so all it winds up being is just like a series of depictions of abuse. And that doesn't do Joan Crawford any favors. And likewise, Christina is just there. There's not much going on there either. I mean, every once in a while she gets interesting and like decides to defy her mother or whatever. And, you know, craziness ensues, but that's it. Like, she's not even like a fully formed person. Even like in her later years, like there's time when Joan Crawford shows up. She's really happy to see her mom. It's like, oh, she's happy to see her. That's interesting, you know, given all the bullshit that she put her through. It's a very complex relationship that we never really dig into why the relationship evolves in the way that it does and winds up in the way that it does. It's just there. It's just like, this is what happened, and there's not really a ton of explanation for it. So I think that that's like a big problem with this is that, first of all, I don't think the women characters are really, they're not fleshed out in any kind of interesting way at all. And as a result, they're just, they lack any depth whatsoever. And that gives us a reason to laugh at the campiness, you know?
I will say that the little kid actress, there were moments where she's good and she does her best, but they're not.
Oh, you're very generous.
I'm doing my best. I don't want to like, listen, that woman is probably like my age now. And I don't know if she's still acting, but I want to let her know that, you know, she did her best.
I'm just going to leave that there. I am not going to say a word about anything. Look,
I didn't act when I was her age. Good for her.
Neither
for
did I.
trying.
I'm terrible. I don't act either. I'm awful in front of the camera. I'm not even,
Right.
I'm not good.
Right.
Like, no, like I can't even throw shade, but we're just going to.
Listen,
I think that criticism speaks for itself, Erin. I'm just not going to do anything with that.
Listen, good for her for trying.
I think that Diana Scarwood is good.
Okay.
Adult Christina, I think she like with what they gave her to work with, which was nothing, she did fine.
My understanding is that she did her best to like match. Her instruction from the director was to, whenever Faye Dunaway was to go ballistic on her, was to match the energy and to almost mimic her.
See, I thought that she was like still kind of soft spoken, except for that one scene before she gets choked.
Right.
Where she like really talks back at her mom and like yells at her. I think that was the one outburst that we get from her. Otherwise, she's just kind of like, doop-de-doo. I'm kind of hurt by what you just said, and I'm going to kind of express it, but I'm just going to walk away now. You know, like it's not, the thing is that Faye Dunaway is so friggin' over the top that you can't top it. Like, you just can't. Like, what do you do? Like, everything is going to seem subtle by comparison, I feel.
Right.
And that's why, like, this is Faye Dunaway's film. This child, her daughter, is just a stand-in for what? I don't need, like, for just kids everywhere who are abused and kind of sheepish and don't do anything? I don't know.
And the end result of this now is that we have this bizarre film, and now everybody's depiction of Joan Crawford is just Faye Dunaway's Joan Crawford.
Because a lot of people, especially like if they're younger than us and not as into film as we are, they've probably never even freaking seen a Joan Crawford film.
No.
I mean, she got her start like in the 30s or even in the 20s. Like, she was a dancer, I think, in the 20s, and then
she was in the Follies.
And she was in the Follies, and then she got signed on to MGM, and she even like made it through the no sound to talkies transition. She nailed it. Like, she's like a legend. I mean, you know. But most people have never seen any of her films or know like the lengths of her talent or know of any other accounts of this woman from other people within Hollywood who actually liked her. And she would like write letters to Spielberg and stuff, and like encourage him and everything.
She was like a mentor to Spielberg. And when you're in the Follies, like back then, like you had to do everything. That's like when the movie begins, she's putting on ice skates. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you had to do that shit. You had to learn how to sing. You had to dance. You had to ice skate. You had to roller skate. You had to tumble. You had to do backflips. You had to be like, know how to go from a star to be a player to a background person, because that's just kind of how you had to do it. That's how it was back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You had to do anything and everything. And she
Right.
was one of those people. She could do it all.
Right. And I think that, like, when you know that history of her too, it makes you understand like why she was so strict with her daughters. Like, even like in the instances like where it was just being strict and not being like straight up abusive, she wanted Christina to like know how to earn her own way. She wanted Christina to be ambitious, to be a fighter, to be able to fend for herself, you know, like she had to. You know, she didn't want her to take advantage of the fact that she lived in the lap of luxury, even though Joan Crawford was like saying that, you know, I want to give these kids everything that I never had. She still raised them the way that she, like, according to an existence that she lived. And she was, you know, pretty unrelenting with it. But just like all the things that you have to do in the Follies, it's like this kid doesn't have to do any of that stuff because she's growing up the child of Joan Crawford. And so what does Joan do? She's trying to instill this sense of like independence and scrappiness and self-reliance that she had at the same time, because Joan probably never perceived like what she went through as like literal abuse. She probably thought it was fine to do the same thing to her kids, you know?
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know, like once again, that this is like the context that's missing, right? That I think that makes you not necessarily accept, but understand why she was the way that she was, if we accept these things to be true.
I think that Joan Crawford did love her children.
Oh yeah, I do.
I do think that Christina Crawford went through some shit.
Yes.
I think both things can be true.
Yes. And you know what the third thing is true?
This movie's amazing.
Yes. And unfortunately, I laughed many times during the rewatch. I mean, it's just so over the top. Like, even the way that her face falls. I swear to God, I laughed so hard. There's a scene at the very beginning at the birthday party where Christina's like, Mom, my dress has a grass stain and we're supposed to take pictures now. And she's like, oh, honey. She's like, it won't show. And the cameraman's like, it might show. And then her face just drops like, what the fuck did you just say?
Like she was going to kill the cameraman and everything in her wake. It was amazing.
And it was like the look itself was just so.
Yeah,
so
it was this. It was. Yeah.
Uh-huh. She was just like. That was like the first sign that we were in for a ride, man. That was like the first time where it was like, oh, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I was like hanging out and I was watching it, and I was like, Eric was like walking through the living room, like, "Hey, you want to watch Mommie Dearest with me?" He's like, "Yeah, you can't just spring that on me. I had to prepare myself mentally for it."
What do you mean? It's just not like a comfort watch for him? What is he talking about?
He's like, no, he's like, I need 2 days to prepare myself to watch Mommie Dearest.
Why?
Because
is he more mortified by it than we are?
No, I don't think he's mortified. I just think certain movies he requires like to notice to watch it. Wait until he discovers that that's her Halloween costume.
Oh, that's great. Wait, who's going to be Joan? Who's going to be Christina? I'm going to be Joan. And he's going to be Christina with a blonde wig. I'm going to throw his
ass in a blonde wig.
You have to get a blonde wig and then chop all the hair off. And put a grass stain on the dress.
It's going to be art. You're going to do like progressive art at parties. I'm going to bring wire hangers. I'm going to bring an axe. It's going to be.
I've seen what you guys do for Halloween. I totally believe that this is going to happen.
And for those of you at home that are listening, my husband and I are very, very much into Halloween. We have won many Halloween costumes. We go all out last year. Yes. We weren't just Pee Wee Herman. It was Pee Wee Herman and Convict Mickey, specifically from the small 5-minute scene from Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and nailed it. I had the dress knitted for me. The blue dress that Pee Wee wears, I had it knitted for me.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. No, they really do this. So I'm expecting you to hold up your end of the bargain on this one. I'm going to be looking for a Mommie Dearest costume.
It'll be added to the list. We have a list that goes throughout the year, and at the end, like about a month before Halloween or 2 months before we start voting on it.
I mean, if it does wind up being Mommie Dearest, we're going to have to post it to the website, just saying.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So are there any other sins that you can think of?
No, I think
besides the ones that we've...
I mean, it's a little off format, but we think we covered a good mesh of them. I think that's all the ones I had.
Yeah. I think that we did a good job covering it. Okay, so like, are there any other pros to the film that make you forgive it a little bit more?
This movie culturally is important. I can't.
Okay.
Listen,
please explain.
It really is. It rallies people together. You could show this at any like queer bar, and they would be instantly, the clientele is very happy.
Yes.
And I would be happy for them.
Because
I know they're in it for a very good time.
Yes. Anything else?
Iconic because of those performances, and it's just become campy and over the top. It's also like inspired people to become filmmakers because of this, believe it or not.
Do you know any? Do you know any by name?
I am sure that they also watch John Waters films.
Oh yeah. Did you know that John Waters did a DVD commentary for this?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I did not know that, but that tracks.
He did. Like, the master of camp was the perfect person to do a DVD commentary. I have not listened to it, but I do want to now. So
do you check or cherish this?
I mean, is there any question? I cherish the hell out of this movie.
I cherish the hell out of this.
I mean, I want to cherish. I want to hug it. I want to hug. I want to give Joan a hug. I want to give Christina a hug. I want to embrace.
When I die, show this at my funeral to honor me.
Done. Done. I mean, we'll have to show a series of films. You have to like rank them for me, because I have a feeling that there's a few different films that epitomize Erin. I mean, obviously Showgirls goes first, and then Mommie Dearest, and then whatever else. True. So you're going to have to start thinking about that. Fair. I'll make it happen with Eric. Don't you worry. I'll make sure it happens.
Thank you.
Okay, so we both cherish.
Yes.
We're both good. We both endorse. We both think that you should get drunk with your girlfriends and your gay guy friends and wear curlers in your hair and drink wine and get stoned and eat raw steak while you watch this film. I mean, make it a whole event.
All the drugs.
It is worthy.
Kick your feet up
of this.
Have a Pepsi Cola.
Pepsi Cola.
Yes. Get rid of that load-bearing wall where we don't want to be.
Exactly. Put on a face mask, man. Just lean into it, because it is a camp classic, and like for better or worse it is. And I enjoy the hell out of this film. I encourage anybody who likes watching movies in the ways that I just described to do it immediately.
If you like bad things, you're going to love this.
Yes. All right. I think that wraps us up.
Yep.
You good, Erin?
I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.